Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com. And by the Ohio Arts Council, a state agency that funds and supports quality arts experiences.
This time on Broad and High, Hollywood glamour returns to Lancaster, and a Galena man whose art is building houses. This and more right now on Broad and High. Welcome to Broad and High. I'm your host, Kate Maneke. 2 summers ago, we brought you a profile on the Edith Head costume exhibit at the Decorative Arts Center in Lancaster. Well, she's back. Well, more specifically, her costume and jewelry designs are back, alongside the work of 2 of her colleagues at Paramount Pictures. Together, they helped create the mid-century glitz and glamour of Hollywood fashion. Here's a peek.
I'm Edith Head, of course. Hollywood's, I would humbly say, greatest costume designer. I've worked on 1,131 films, nominated 35 times, and won 8 Academy Awards.
Edith Head had the longest career of any woman in Hollywood. She started in late 1923, early 1924 at Paramount. She left Paramount in 1967 and went to Universal. She remained at Universal until her death in 1981. The exhibit we're doing this time, Edith Head and Company, is different from the previous exhibit, which was Edith Head at Paramount. That exhibit in 2014 was exclusively Edith Head designs. This is a mixture. This has some Travis Banton, some Howard Greer, some Mary Kay Dodson. It was Travis Banton and Howard Greer who trained Edith Head. They really did take her under their wing when she was hired in 1924. And that sort of laid the foundation. And then when Banton's contract was not renewed in 1937, Edith became the chief designer and became a household name. We have a 21-foot wedding train. It was designed by Travis Banton for the 1929 film The Love Parade. And it's jeweled, completely jeweled with rhinestones and pearls. It's on a satin background, silk background, with a gold lame backing. We don't think it's been seen since 1929. We have not found it used in any other film. It's a spectacular piece. It's in mint condition, and it's the first time it's ever been displayed anywhere. And you can only imagine the women sitting at long tables on either side and beading and stitching, because every rhinestone is put on by hand, every one of them. And we have Hedy Lamarr's dress from Samson and Delilah, which is a very unique piece. The appliques were all hand done, hand beaded, and then sewn onto the costume. But what's interesting about the costume, you'll see remnants of peacock feathers, real peacock feathers. Well, Mr. DeMille insisted that Hedy be draped in peacocks. Well, they had to wait until the peacocks were molting at his ranch, and Edith Head and crew went to his ranch and picked up all of the peacock feathers they could find, which created this very large cape. Unfortunately, the cape is not in the exhibit, but the DeMille family still owns the cape. But we do have some of the, you can see, if you look closely at the costume, you will see some remnants of those peacock feathers that were worked into the overall pattern of the dress. The other piece we have that's just fantastic is from the Lady Eve. It is the Barbara Stanwyck costume from the Lady Eve, recently restored. It has sort of a nude bodice underneath, which made it look like Stanwyck wasn't wearing any clothes, but actually it's a very sheer nude bodice with a necklace at the top. And that necklace is not a real necklace, it's actually the collar of that bodice that her bolero is attached to. So when you watch the film closely, you notice the necklace never really moves. Even though Edith Head was a master at designing suits, the other master, her biggest competition was Irene. And we have 2 Irene suits, one for Rosalind Russell, the other for Claudette Colbert. And they are, to me, masterpieces of engineering. They're beautiful. The tailoring is impeccable. We are also the only studio archive to have a jewelry archive. So we have over 12,000 pieces of jewelry, individual pieces of jewelry in the collection. The oldest piece is a crown that was designed for Pola Negri, a major silent film star at Paramount. It was designed for the film Forbidden Paradise. So we have the crown and two of the brooches that were designed to go with the outfit that Howard Greer had designed. We also have a gold-plated crown that was used by Gloria Swanson in a film called Madame Saint-Jean, and it is a gold-plated crown with cameos, real cameos on the front, but glass pearls on top. I've never mounted an exhibit of this size, so Lancaster is the first place to have it.
The Edith Head Costumes and Jewelry exhibit is on view through August 14th at the Decorative Arts Center in Lancaster. Many established yet undiscovered artists leave behind a wealth of work with little or no direction on how it should be preserved for future generations. Well, now there's a website that aims to maintain and promote the work of artists who died without recognition of the full measure of their talents. 2 celebrated Ohio artists have recently been added to its archive. Here's more.
Well, POBA was launched officially in July of 2014 as an online virtual arts center, actually the first one ever to exist. And on the website, we are featuring the work of exceptional, if under-recognized artists who have passed away before being fully recognized. And this is a place that the public can go and discover these works, and where the estates and families of these artists, professional and amateur alike, can actually store all of their works and then put them on the displays.
We were contacted by POBA. In fact, we were the first arts agency in the nation to be contacted. I think that's probably because we have such a rich history here in Ohio of supporting artists. And they reached out to us to say, how can we partner? We know Ohio has some very significant artists whose work we want to keep in our archive so that forever it will be available to citizens not just of Ohio or the United States, but of the world. The first thing that I always think of when I think of Amina is community. She showed us all what family and values and living in a community is like, whether it was through her fiber work, through her painting or other visual art, and she captured it in a way that it could be a wall hanging, it could be something stacked on the floor, it could be something that is a huge expanse of a mural. Sally Love Larkin from the Cincinnati area really was a pioneer in creating artist spaces. She, like Amina, just created community. It was with people, it was in physical spaces, and she also was a pioneer in creating performance art. And we just love what's been captured on POBA for both Amina and Sally.
The artists that are displayed on site are limited to those who have already passed away. But at POBA, what we're doing with the state art councils and generally with the public is also trying to help artists become aware of what's needed for them to take care of their art and to prepare their art to live on. So we invite working artists as well to come to POBA and to see we have tips about what one needs to do to preserve copyrights and to preserve their work over time, to catalog it properly and to protect it from any natural disasters that might befall.
There's some sense of love, right, about all of these artists who've gone from the world, whose work now exists in this one place. And we can visit it in the dark of night, in early morning, on our lunch hour, on a walk, and they still belong to us. It's as if they are here with us. There's something pretty fantastic about knowing that your legacy will live on long after you've gone. POBA offers that to artists.
Jose Diaz of Galena came to the U.S. from Puerto Rico when he was 18 to attend college. That was 10 years after he built his very first dollhouse.
I was in a friend's house. I remember very clearly. His father was a cabinet maker. And in the corner of his workshop, he had a house that he was building. And I don't think he was going to even finish it. It was just sitting there, and I thought it was the greatest thing that I ever saw. So at the end of the day, I just borrowed some glue, a scrap wood, and I went home. And then I built my first house. And you can see my house, some of them I use sandpaper as a roof material. I do hardwood floor. I use those sticks that you use for coffee. Sometimes I use tone depressors too. This one right here, you can see the main ornament there is a Christmas ornament. And I saw it, I said, good, I mean, look at this. Does it look like a chandelier? And that's how that one started, with just one Christmas ornament. For example, you look at the floor that we have here, I was putting this floor, it's the sticky tiles. I said, this would make it perfect blocks for a house. And that is how the house in the back was created. Also, the frame for the main entrance is a picture frame. I went with my sister one year to Athens, Greece, and there was all these statues. So I created just one room in order to use the pieces. What happened is I chose the wrong major in school. I'm in science. I got my degree in science, but I always wanted to be an architect. You think about it, some people can sing, some people can write, some people can play football. I cannot do any of that, but I can do this. And even though I might not sell them, I might not go, they don't go anywhere, but it just made me complete. I love to stand back and look at them because it's like there's something there was nothing there before. Everything was an idea. Now it's there. I can see it. I can touch it. I created it. It's mine. I love them. What else can I say? They are my babies, I guess.
This year's Columbus Arts Festival will feature 12 emerging artists who don't have a lot of experience on the festival circuit. Columbus photographer Rick Buchanan is one of them, but he's no stranger to the camera. He's made a career of capturing some of the city's most notable events and professionals, but it's his nature and landscape photography that has landed him a booth at this year's Arts Fest.
Well, we're here at Upper Falls in the Old Man's Cave region of Hocking Hills. Hocking Hills is really a magical place. You hear a lot, people say, oh, Ohio, it's boring, it's flat, there's no pretty landscape, no mountains, no oceans. Well, there's no mountains or oceans, but we do have beautiful landscapes, and I think Hocking Hills is the nicest in the state. When you get down there at the right time, it's gorgeous. We got a decent amount of water coming over the falls today. I've set up a shot here that I kind of like because the hemlock branches are framing the falls nicely. Hopefully we'll end up with an image that's one that isn't seen every day. I try to travel as light as I can when I'm out in the field. Just tripod, 2 or 3 lenses, camera body. This is the Devil's Bathtub. Sometimes there's some cool compositions down in here. depending upon how much water's flowing. It's a little light today. I started my career in the advertising business and worked in that for 16 years and picked up photography as a hobby along the way. And so I slowly made a transition over the course of a couple years from the advertising agency business to photography, and really never looked back. Well, I like to tell people that I photograph people and places. So a lot of my work is portraiture, and then I photograph quite a bit of events. And then I also do a lot of landscape and nature photography. Well, right now we're down here at the Cascades, which are right above Middle Falls, and getting some nice light coming through, streaming through the trees, getting a little bit of light beams and nice reflections on the water. Using a really slow shutter speed here to add motion to the water and get that nice cotton candy kind of feel to it. I usually go to Colorado every fall. It's probably my favorite place to photograph. I just love it out there. One of my favorite subjects to photograph are aspen trees. There's just so much personality to them, the trunks, the leaves, the way they change, the way they look in the spring, the way they look in the fall, the way they look in the summer. Plus it's just great to be out there in the mountain air with them. So I print all my own work here in the studio, and I use an Epson 7880. It's a large format printer. It's capable of printing 24 inches wide by, I don't know, 6 or 8 feet long. I think one of the hallmarks of my photography is detail. I really like a lot of detail in my images and my prints. When you get out there in nature, it's great to get away from the hustle and bustle. I find it's a very invigorating way to kind of recharge the battery, so to speak, and give me a creative spark in my commercial work.
The 2016 Columbus Arts Festival takes place along the downtown riverfront June 10th through 12th. Learn more at columbusartsfestival.org. And you can see more of Rick's work by visiting his website at rickbuchananphotography.com. The photographer in this next segment converted a delivery truck into a giant mobile camera and traveling darkroom. His wet plate photography process honors the tradition of pioneering California photographers who documented the incredible landscape of the western United States.
Photography, it's like a passport to the world, and this truck has opened up so many doors, and it's allowed me to meet so many people, and it's like a big magnet, and it brings stories to you, and it also gives you an excuse to travel and see the world. The minute I stepped in here, it made sense. It's like, of course you built a camera where you see the world upside down and backwards. Like, it really made sense, and I'm like, okay. Upside down is one thing, but the backwardsness is, I really understand that, because I'm really dyslexic, and that's part of my learning disabilities or whatever they call it, but that's how I see the world. The pictures that I really like are the ones that make you feel, and they're not so much pretty colors or something over the top, but there's something that make you feel, and it make you feel sad or happy or a certain emotion, and you don't really know why, but you have that connection with it. Why I chose the wet plate? I think it was out of necessity, because I'd been working in the digital medium for a while, and they didn't get rid of all the film, but Kodak and Fuji and these companies started going out of business or discontinuing film, and a piece of me got discontinued at that point. And when I learned about wet plate, I learned that I could make my own film, and at that point, no one could ever take that away from me. It's interesting with photography, I'll literally dream about photos, and I'll see them in my head, and then as I'm driving down the road, it's almost like deja vu, where I'm like, I've seen that before, or this strikes something in me, and then I'm like, that's what I want to photograph. When we're shooting out in the elements, you know, just a little bit of wind will shake the camera, and nature creates all the beauty, but it also gives us the most adversity and the most challenges. So you just have to be patient. That's the big lesson in photography, is being patient. When we travel to a new place, what I like to do is just look at it and sit there for a couple of days until you can kind of feel it. And I think it could take years even, but we only had so much time. But before you just go out and start shooting, you got to kind of sit there and feel it, and feel the dry desert air like blow across you, and your lips get dry. And once you feel that, then you can go out and kind of capture it and absorb it. This one actually worked out pretty easy, but I had looked at it for over a week, and I kind of had it figured out. We just had to wait on the wind and the wind to stop, and then we showed up at the right time and it worked. If I ever space traveled, honestly, this image, I felt like I was on Mars. I mean, I live in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and there's all Yosemite and these real famous spots, but I've never seen anything like this. This doesn't even look like the Earth to me. See, because there are limitations on the contrast and everything, where that plateau in the back is really washed out, and that, but it also creates depth, and I don't try to correct those things. I really just embrace them, and I think they make them what they are. And in life, it seems like we always want to fix everything, and it's kind of, start thinking of it in society with plastic surgery and Photoshop, and we always want it better, but what's wrong with the way it is? What's wrong with the way we are? And that's why I like the collodion process too, because this is it. And it's not perfect, but it is perfect. It's better than perfect. One thing that really got my attention is how powerful nature is, but the life that exists in it is equally as powerful. And this tree has probably been washed out over hundreds of years, I don't know, but you can see the roots are stretching out like fingers reaching into the earth, and they're still sucking up water. And where that tree is half dead, but it's also half alive. And it'll probably be like that for a long time. And that one, it just really struck something in me, that it just shows how powerful life is, and the will to survive and live. This house really drew me in because it's kind of like a broken dream. And I'm sure someone at one point lived there, and they had a farm, and it was a really neat thing. And then as time went by, it kind of looks like it didn't work out. How we make the plates is I'll usually sit somewhere in here. And what we do is we pour the film on top of this plate, and the film's actually collodion, and it has other iodized salts in it. We pour it over this plate and just float it back and forth to get it on evenly. And then from there, it goes into our silver tank, and those silver crystals mix with those iodides, and it makes a silver haloid, and that's what makes these plates so reflective. And then we put the plate on the focusing board and open the lens and expose it to light. So those are the really important components of it. And then you just develop it and fix it like kind of traditional black and white. New Mexico kind of fits into our process and the West, because it reminds me of this pioneer spirit and these vast open spaces and ruggedness and kind of this you have to do it yourself attitude, and you're out there, and the guys that and women that did this photography in the 1800s, they had that spirit, and that was something that I missed in photography over the years. It kind of went away. I'm not sure if I found photography or if it found me, but I know that it's a real important piece of who I am. The people we meet, and we ask them questions, I end up learning stuff about myself, and you start finding out you're not alone and you're not the only one that feels a certain way or looks at the world that way. And what inspires me to continue is just the thought of having a dream. And I think that everyone has dreams, and that's really one thing that connects us all as a human race. And without dreams, you wouldn't have a reason to get up in the morning. You wouldn't have a purpose or something to go forward. And I think the dreams are really important.
We're closing today's show with the music of local indie folk band Oliver Oak. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next week on Broad and High.
On narrow steps above the quays, where nameless dogs and branches sway, lay on blankets spread, on rock and earth in bed, until the sun.
Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com. And by the Ohio Arts Council, a state agency that funds and supports quality arts experiences.